Welcome back to GB News Tonight with me, Martin Daubney. Here's the talking point. Surely now the time for talking is over and the time for action is upon us. Live pictures there on your screens. A support group turned up in Golders Green from the Jewish community. Thoughts and prayers, though, surely. Lighting candles. Lessons will be learned. Don't look back in anger. Tweets from the Prime Minister, Sir Sadiq Khan and Zach Polanski. None of it passes muster anymore. Now, here was the astonishing moment from earlier on this afternoon when the local Labour Party MP, Sarah Sackman, was heckled from the streets of Golders Green when speaking to the press.
I just want to add a few words. What we've heard.
So there's Sarah Sackman getting very, very short shrift from the local Jewish community. And of course, this had a very strong echo the moment David Lammy, the Deputy Prime Minister, was heckled after the Heaton Park synagogue attack.
In introducing our Deputy Prime Minister, David Lammy, and before I do, please.
Palestine! Shame on you! Shame on you! Go to Palestine! Leave us alone!
Reality bites when the platitudes are offered. Perhaps that was the real reason the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and the Prime Minister himself chose not to attend that scene today. But I'm joined now by the author, Dov Foreman, who lives in the local vicinity and whose grandmother was also a Holocaust survivor. Dov, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have your company. Here we go again. Labour parliamentarians, police commissioners being booed off the streets because the Jewish community are simply sick to the back teeth, surely, of endless platitudes.
Well, absolutely. Look, another day, another terrorist attack against the Jewish community, another day that terror has been brought to our doorstep. Martin, the last time I was on your show was when the Hatzalah ambulances were blown up, were arsoned. And since then, there's been a sustained attack against the Jewish community day upon day. And all we get from Keir Starmer, from the Mayor of London, are these platitudes that an attack on the Jewish community is an attack on all of us and that anti-Semitism has no place here. Well, we keep saying that anti-Semitism absolutely does have a place here and that their words aren't enough. Every single time there's an attack, they whip out their thesauruses and they look for a new word, appalled, devastated, shocked, abhorred. Well, look, words aren't enough. Talk is cheap. This is a terrorist attack, not just on the Jewish community, but this is an attack on the supposed liberal Western values and democracy that we in Britain hold. And ultimately, we need people like the silent majority to start speaking up. It's not enough just to be silent. And Keir Starmer's put out this video recently coming out of Cobra, again, just offering platitudes and empty words to the Jewish community. Well, I presume their response at Cobra was not, let's just issue more words to the Jewish community. What's the plan? What are they going to actually do to stop this sustained attack? After 7/7, there was a de-radicalization program across this country. There were people actually asking, where is this hatred coming from? What are we going to do about it? And there are a number of things that the Prime Minister could do today. Number one, prescribe the Muslim Brotherhood, stop the radicalization in the mosques, in schools and universities. Number two, prescribe the IRGC, stop foreign governments interfering and probably encouraging these acts and these terrorist attacks. Again, an Iran-linked group has claimed responsibility for this terrorist attack and stabbing today. And lastly, they could ban phrases like globalize the intifada and ensure that when people do get arrested for chanting those things, that actually the CPS follow through with it. And 3 years ago, we saw a convoy travel from Leeds, from Bradford, from all over the country with Palestinian flags, shouting that they want to rape our Jewish daughters in this area in Golders Green. Nothing happened to them. And I think from that moment on, we showed anti-Semites that they have a free pass to go out and do what they want and to be anti-Semitic towards this community and that they would face no charges and nothing would happen to them. And this is where it's led to.
Dov Foreman, could I quickly ask you a pertinent question? Your grandmother survived the Holocaust. What on earth would she make of what's happening on British streets today?
My great-grandmother would be absolutely devastated. She lived on the roads where this terrorist attack took place, where the Hatzalah ambulances were burnt the other week too. She would be totally appalled. She moved to the UK after surviving Auschwitz in the hope that she would be able to raise her family, a proud Jewish family here. And I can tell you that some of her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren have already left this country because they no longer see a future for Jews, and that I, as a great-grandson, and many of my cousins and friends are also considering their future in this country. How sad that is. Great Britain, well, ultimately, it doesn't feel very great for the Jewish community at the moment.
Dov Foreman, thank you for joining us on the show tonight, and please, accept my apologies, I think,
Thank you.
for Britain. Dov Foreman, thank you very, very much indeed. Back to the studio now. I'm joined by my panel, Kwasi Kwarteng and Sebastian Sanic. Gentlemen, we're at a situation here, Kwasi Kwarteng, where you're quite clearly hearing here, enough of this thoughts and prayers, enough of this kumbayas, toothless Cobra meetings. We need to put boots through the doors. Deportations, actions, something needs to be done.
100%. And I think that I'm afraid with this government, given their political coalition that they're trying to form, I think they're very unlikely to do anything about this, because it means taking bold actions, the kind of things that Dov was suggesting, prescribing the IRGC, prescribing the Muslim Brotherhood, taking tough action against, let's face it, radical Islamic terrorism, Islamist terrorism. That's not to say that all Muslims are terrorists. That's not remotely the case. But this minority of people who are fueled by anti-Jewish hatred do have an ideological underpinning. I look at these attacks, I wonder if they're not all coordinated. I mean, it seems a mighty coincidence. You have 5 attacks within a month in the same area. And the police, the authorities, the government need to take strong armed action. And I fear, because of their political coalition, this government won't do it.
Can we just show a clip earlier on of Sir Mark Rowley, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, who was also heckled off the streets of Golders Green?
Do you think that visibly Jewish people are safe on the streets of London?
This is an awful attack today. It is completely understandable why Jewish Londoners feel afraid. That's why we're putting so much extra policing into these events, and we're going to be looking at what more we can do over the forthcoming weeks.
The police commissioner of the Metropolitan Police could not answer the question, are Jewish people safe in London? Because he can't. He can't offer that guarantee because Jewish people clearly are not safe in London. Sebastian, we need to talk about the Labour Party. And I pushed you on it before, but I'm going to push you on it again. There is absolutely, and I think you were alluding to this, Kwasi Kwarteng, there is absolutely a feeling that the Labour Party cannot clamp down on the Muslim community because they need the vote.
I don't think that's true at all. It's a very dated prism through which to view politics.
Really?
Just the assumption that Muslims vote Labour, like the assumption that working class people vote Labour, that may have been largely true.
Ago,
exactly. It may have been true 20 years ago, but just like Muslims, just like the working class, you cannot make those assumptions today.
No, look, so let's get to the point. We had a by-election, I think, in February at Gorton and Denton, one of the safest Labour seats in the country, high Muslim population. Anecdotally, most of those voters, Muslim voters, went Green. So it is absolutely the case.
That proves my point. That those are not people that Labour can rely on to vote for them. You cannot position people based on their religion and assume they're going to put a tick in a box.
You're putting the cart before the horse. The reason why Labour are nervous is they don't want to lose more seats like Gorton and Denton. They need to keep a strong presence, a strong support among the Muslim community, and they are very unlikely, the political leaders of the Labour Party, to clamp down on the way that Dov Foreman suggested.
Well, let's put it like
they need Muslim
this,
votes, and those votes, frankly, are going into the Greens. And that's part of the catastrophe for Labour.
Dov made some fantastic suggestions there, and most of them Labour have either already done or they're going to do.
They haven't done any of them.
Record funding for anti-Semitism around education,
they haven't prescribed
around
the
security.
They haven't prescribed the IRGC.
And they've said they will in the next Parliament.
They haven't prescribed the Muslim Brotherhood. Why not now? Why the next Parliament?
Because there were legal concerns.
150 majority.
There was a review that's gone through. There's a whole process.
They could do it immediately. If they had the political will.
Kwasi, your government pledged to do this in 2023.
Yeah, but we haven't seen the spate of attacks. We haven't seen the spate of attacks. We haven't seen the spate of attacks. There have been 5 attacks in Barnet in a month, and you're saying, oh, well, we'll do it in the next Parliament, which is in 3 years' time, where Labour are unlikely to win.
And of course we did. I don't think we could say that this country was particularly safe for Jewish people in 2023.
But today, Jewish people are dying as we speak. They're being attacked as we speak. There is a Labour government with 180 majority, and all you can do is turn up and say, oh, well, we might prescribe them in the next Parliament, in the 2030s.
If you've listened to me, I told you,
not acceptable.
Record funding has already gone into anti-Semitism around security, education,
Mike Freer
and
said,
institutions.
it's not being put in the right areas.
Of course it can go further. I would agree with you on that.
You said Dov's remarks are being implemented. They're not. The government hasn't
he asked for more security,
They haven't
and I've told you
prescribed,
it's
have
there.
they prescribed the Muslim Brotherhood?
No, but what I'm
Have they
telling you is that
prescribed
is being talked about as something that will happen. So this is a process. You can't have everything
and I said,
today.
it'll
It takes
happen.
time.
It'll happen.
You know this. You've been
people
there.
Are being attacked
These things
now.
take time.
Gentlemen,
they could ban the IGC in a heartbeat.
Gentlemen, I need to call time. A fantastic debate. Thank you to you, Kwasi. Thank you to you, Sebastian. Now, earlier on this evening, I spoke to the Labour Health Minister, Dr. Zabir Ahmed, as fierce